What's going on, everybody? It's GameUnboxingReviews here, and welcome back to another Spider-Man PS4 news update. Or should I say Marvel Spider-Man PS4 news update. Yes, this game is finally back. We finally have more details, and let me tell you right now, I was watching that live stream last night, and I could not believe my eyes. Everything they showed from this game looks absolutely spectacular, superior, amazing, ultimate. I just can't wait for this game. It looks so very good. It honestly looks like the successor to Spider-Man 2, what is probably currently the best Spider-Man video game at the moment, but man, Insomniac looks to be beating it. It really does. It is ticking every single box for me, and I can't wait for it. I can't praise Insomniac games enough because it has been a long wait, a very long wait to see more from this game, and finally it has been so worth the wait. It really has. That, what was it, 8 minutes of gameplay was so worth it, and I literally can't stop watching it. I can't. I absolutely love it. Can't wait to see more. Anyway, with me rabbiting on, of course, I forgot to mention that we've got so much news to talk about. I mean, we got story details, gameplay details, character details, tons of really cool stuff. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so first up, let's talk about the game's story. So, it is a very big, completely original story set in a brand new Spider-Man universe. Now, what this means is it has no ties to any previous or upcoming Spider-Man movies or animated series, nor does it have any connection to any Spider-Man comic books. So we play as a Spider-Man with several years of crime fighting under his belt and sheer mastery of his powerful spider sense, dynamic skills, acrobatic abilities, and a new suit. So this is a Spider-Man crafted by Insomniac Games. Yes, it's inspired by the comics and the movies and things like that, but it is a new Spider-Man crafted by Insomniac Games with no connection to any other Spider-Man media, and I love that because it really allows them to do whatever they want, and that's exciting. I love being surprised by a new Spider-Man story, and clearly this story is going to be full of surprises. However, this is a story that is as much about the man behind the mask as it is about the man in it. Now, we now know that Peter is 23 years old in this universe, and having just graduated college and found a job, possibly the Daily Bugle, because we do see a Daily Bugle billboard in the gameplay trailer, but we also see a pizza billboard as well, so maybe they're going to go back to the Spider-Man 2 days where we actually had to deliver pizzas. Hey, I'm not against it, especially if they have that awesome theme tune again. I mean, that would be amazing, but it's probably more than likely the Daily Bugle, and hopefully it is, because I would love to have maybe like a share play function in this game where you can actually take pictures with Peter. That would be pretty cool. Now, Peter is struggling to balance his chaotic personal life while the fate of millions of New Yorkers rest upon his shoulders, and Insomniac has said that the Peter Parker is represented really well in this game and is integral to the experience in both the story and gameplay. I mean, sadly we didn't get to see anything from Peter in the game, just him in his, obviously in his Spider-Man costume, which all looked amazing, but I think it's going to be worth the wait. I really do feel that, because with the gameplay announcement last year when they showed the trailer, we all lost our minds. We wanted to see more, and we had to wait a whole year, which was of course yesterday. We finally got more, and it was worth it. And I think when they show Peter Parker, it's going to be worth it too. I really hope that what they're saying there is, you know, you can really play as Spider-Man and Peter Parker all in one. You know, maybe you hear some gunshots going off in an alleyway and you're playing as Peter Parker and you're walking down the street, and then you run into an alleyway and change into your suit. If you can have that much freedom between playing as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, this will honestly be the Spider-Man game. I don't see any other game beating it as the Spider-Man game. This sounds like a Spider-Man simulator, to be honest. Next up, we're going to be talking about some of the new characters. Now, I apologize if I get this wrong, but I believe it's pronounced Captain Watanabe. Now, she is an NYPD captain and clearly a big supporter of Spider-Man. Now, this is in the comics. This is what she is in the comics. She's an NYPD captain, and she's a big supporter of Spidey. But in the gameplay, we can see she's actually helping Spidey a lot. She's talking to him. She's talking to him during the helicopter crash and things like that. There's a lot of talk between Yuri and Spidey, and I think that's really cool. So, to me, she kind of reminds me of the relationship Spider-Man had with DeWolf in Spider-Man 3. You know, she's helping him, he's helping her, that kind of stuff. So, I think it's really cool to see that kind of character in a Spider-Man game. I think it's great. Now, in the comic books, what's interesting is Yuri actually becomes Wraith, but with Spider-Man PS4, I think they'll probably just keep her as a police captain for now, and personally, I'm fine with that. Can't wait to see more from this character, though. Next up we have Wilson Fisk, aka of course the Kingpin. Now it has been confirmed that the gameplay showcased at E3 was early on in the game's story, and as we saw, it takes place after Peter's defeated Wilson Fisk, as he is of course now in prison. So we will indeed be taking on the Kingpin in Spider-Man PS4, which is very, very exciting. So we've got two confirmed villains now. We've got Mr. Negative and Wilson Fisk. Awesome. I personally really like how it's quite a grounded list of villains so far. You know, I know Mr. Negative has superpowers, but still his enemies are very just the thugs. They're basically just thugs, and I love that. I love how it's sticking to the grounded approach to Spider-Man where he fights street thugs, but these are more advanced street thugs, and I think that's really, really great. Now, the last character that we need to talk about is, of course, Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative, the leader of the gang known as the Inner Demons. Now, one thing that we do now know, which is very, very exciting, is that Spider-Man is shocked to see Martin Lee in that helicopter because he is, in fact, Aunt May's boss at the homeless shelter. Now, I think this is an excellent example of how Insomniac Games are making a Spider-Man game where we really see Peter's personal life crash into his crime-fighting life and mold together in unexpected ways. And I honestly think, judging by what's going on in the story, this could be one of those Spider-Man stories where Peter's identity might even be revealed. And I always find those stories quite interesting. I really do. I think if they're done right, it could be really good. And I'm very excited to see where Insomniac's taking this story, because already it sounds very exciting and there's tons of great stuff to look forward to. Next up, we're going to be talking all about the gameplay for Spider-Man PS4, and first we're going to start off by talking about the stealth gameplay. Now, stealth makes a return in this game, and I am personally so happy to see this, because it looks better than ever. You know, I enjoyed the stealth in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, I like the improvements in Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Spider-Man 2, but Insomniac, they have done it. They have made the best stealth in a Spider-Man game to date. I mean, it looks so good. You can see, of course, from the gameplay that Spidey can perform what is called a web strike takedown, which is possible both on the ground and even when you're perched up high looking down at an enemy, and I bet there's other ways to do it as well. I would imagine there are takedowns where you can crawl on the wall as well. I mean, there's tons of things that we probably don't know about this game yet, and I can't wait to see more from the stealth because it looks so good. Now, last year when this game was first revealed, we could clearly see that Insomniac were inspired by many different takes on Spider-Man, and one in particular was the new Spider-Man, which is of course Tom Holland, because the suit actually had expressive eyes, which of course we first saw in Captain America Civil War. And clearly, they aren't stopping there, as we can see from this very, what I would call, Homecoming-inspired gadget, because you can see that Spidey slows down time, aims at a beam, fires, and then waits for an enemy to walk past the sensor, and of course once that happens, thwip! They are caught in a web, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I love how this Spider-Man is also going to have gadgets, because I'm loving everything I've seen from Spider-Man Homecoming. I think the gadgets are a great addition to the character, and the fact that Insomniac are doing that as well is very, very cool. And hopefully that isn't the only gadget, because if it is, then it's awesome, but it would be great to see more. Moving on to the melee combat, this looks incredibly fast-paced in this game. I mean, we can see that Spidey can attack, web, and throw his enemies in a variety of different ways. He can jump from one bad guy to another, and it just looks so much fun. And he can even do these amazing takedowns to finish off an enemy. I mean, it looks incredible. He even has his trusty spider sense, of course, and it plays a role here where basically if you're about to get attacked, it warns you and you can jump out the way, and when you jump out the way, it actually slows down time, basically I think allowing the player to plan their next move, which I really like. Personally, I think my favorite thing about the combat is just seeing how clearly there is so much freedom on how you can fight in this game. An excellent example I think of that would be when Spidey kicks a bad guy into the air, shoots a web, and then the guy gets webbed to the fence. Because what I love about that is you didn't have to do that. You could have thrown something at the guy, you could have just beat him up, but you could actually kick him into the air and web him to the fence. And that was completely up to the player on how they wanted to do that. And I love that. I love how much freedom we have to fight in this game. It just looks so cool. Now on to web swinging and traversal. Now, getting around in a Spider-Man video game, for me personally, this has never looked more fun. I mean, it looks like an absolute blast. Web swinging is confirmed to be all physics-based, and like the legendary PS2 classic Spider-Man 2, the webs, of course, attach to buildings. It is back. They actually attach to buildings now, which is fantastic news. Now, as well as that, Peter can obviously climb and run up any surface, but he's also incredibly athletic. acrobatic, and we can see that he uses his impressive parkour abilities to leap on and off just about anything in the open world. We can see that he can target about anywhere in the game, web zip to it, and you're really in complete control over how Spidey moves in this game, and I love that. You can really web zip where you want, swing where you want, climb where you want. It's completely up to you. This honestly really does feel like the successor to Spider-Man 2 on PS2, and honestly that's been a long time coming. I've enjoyed pretty much all the Spider-Man games. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. He's my favorite character of all time. You know, Spider-Man means a great deal to me, so to see a Spider-Man video game look this good, it's a dream come true. It really is. I can't wait to see more. Lastly, on gameplay, we have the huge action set pieces. So we can see from this gameplay alone that this game is going to be extremely action-packed. I mean, we saw Spider-Man stop a crane from falling on the people in New York, and then, of course, he eventually stopped Lee's helicopter from falling by shooting tons of webbing in it. And both scenes are just insane. I mean, seeing such crazy amounts of detail in a Spider-Man game is incredible. It really is. The buildings and crane actually being destroyed, Spidey using as much webbing as possible to stop things from falling. It's just amazing to watch. It's absolutely stunning. And I have no problem with the QuickTime events. I've seen a lot of people online complaining about QuickTime events, which is fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But personally, I think they're fine. It really does not bother me. I mean, the fact that you get these QuickTime events during these amazing set pieces is fine by me. And besides, you know, it's only like a few seconds and then you're back into the gameplay and you're swinging and fighting and stuff like that. I thought it was great. I really did. And I'm sure, you know, there won't be quick time events all the time. I'm sure there's a lot more to the game than just that. But from what I've seen so far, it looks great. And last but most certainly not least, the final thing we need to talk about is, of course, Miles Morales. Yes, that's right. At the very end of the gameplay trailer, we see the Ultimate Spider-Man himself, Miles Morales. And this just blew my mind, because I thought this was all about Peter Parker as Spider-Man. But when you throw in Miles Morales, it opens up tons of possibilities. And obviously, like me, so many people are hyped about this, and it obviously raises a lot of questions. But here's the thing you have to always remember when it comes to this game. This is Insomniac's very own Spider-Man universe, and like I said earlier, it has no connection to any previous Spider-Man media. However, despite that, as soon as I saw Miles, I started thinking, what if they're creating a story that is inspired by the death of Spider-Man story arc from the Ultimate Comics? Meaning, is Peter Parker going to die in this story? I'd say it's really, really early to say something like that right now, but showing Miles like that at the end really just feel like they're setting something up, you know? That can't be for Easter egg purposes. There's got to be a reason behind Miles popping up in the gameplay. I mean, you know, you've got this older, experienced Peter Parker, and this is like his worst threat yet, I guess. You know, this story is a big deal. What's going on in this story is a big deal to Spider-Man and Peter Parker, you know, both sides of the character. And showing Miles like that at the end really does make you feel like maybe they are setting up the death of Spider-Man, and then you play as Miles afterwards. And some people have said online some very cool theories, like, what if Insomniac actually did a DLC story expansion where we play as Miles after the events of Spider-Man PS4? Or maybe there's like an online feature where one person can play as Peter Parker and the other as Miles, and you can both swing around together and stop crimes. There is tons of possibilities that come to mind with Miles Morales being in this story, and I can't wait. I really can't. If we get to play as Peter, Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, and Miles Morales, you know, all versions of these characters, then this is going to be a huge game. It really is. They clearly marketed it as a Peter Parker and Spider-Man game, but seeing Miles, it's just, I honestly don't know. I mean, there's so much they can do, and I just can't wait to hear more about this story, because this could very well be one of the best Spider-Man stories of all time. There are so many surprises to look forward to. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for this video. As you can probably tell from my voice, I am beyond excited for Spider-Man PS4. I can't wait for this game to finally come out. I need to know more news as soon as possible, and I'll be sure to keep you all up to date on the latest news on Spider-Man PS4. It is shaping up to be what looks to be the best Marvel game of all time for me personally. I mean, like I said, I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. It is my favorite thing of all time. Spider-Man is the best character of all time for me personally, and just to see a Spider-Man game looking this good, it's it's great. It really, really is. I mean, like I said, I've enjoyed all the Spider-Man games that have come before it. I think Beanox did a great job. I think Treyarch have done a great job. You know, all the devs that have come before have done good jobs. I've enjoyed the Spider-Man games. But what Insomniac is doing is on another level. It really is. It's on a completely other level. And making it a PlayStation 4 exclusive just goes to show how much effort they are putting into this game. And, you know, with a 2018 release, I'm really happy about that, because it means that Insomniac Games can make this game the best they want it to be. And yeah, it's going to be the best. It's going to be a great game, and it could very well be Game of the Year for 2018. It will be for me, but publicly it could very well win that award, so we'll have to wait and see, but it definitely deserves it. Anyway guys, I want to thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more videos real soon, and as always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.